What's going on, my friend? You have tuned in to yet another episode of Real English Radio. I'm your host, Tony Kaizen, and today we're taking a trip right on to the deep American South so that you can hear a classic Mississippi accent and understand what makes it so unique. Now, you know I'm not one to waste time, my friends, so we're going to get right into it. Let's check it out.
Y'all, there needs to be an update on today's weather. If you're scared of the spiders outside, y'all better stay your butts in the house because I done found about 4 spiders on me in the past hour. I don't know what flavor of spiders they are, but let me tell y'all, they've been crawling all over me. So if I'm in the ER, it's probably because I got spider bit. But y'all stay tuned and stay spiderless bit or whatever that's called.
All right, my friend. Now, before we actually get into the nitty gritty of this episode, I need to make it extremely clear. If you couldn't understand half or even any of what she just said in that video, don't feel bad. All right. Because again, it's a very strong accent. And I'm sure there are some natives that might not be able to understand everything she said unless they were really focused and paying attention. So don't feel bad. All right. Now, at this point in the episode, I'm going to give you just a little bit of history. Then we'll go over her pronunciation patterns, and then I'll explain a bit of the vocabulary that she used in that clip. So let's get right into it. You might be asking yourself, why do they sound like that? Why do so many Southern people speak with such a strong accent? Where does that come from, and how did it develop? And the Southern US accent sounds so unique because of the place, the time period, and cultures in which it was developed. During the colonial period, which was basically between the 1600s and 1700s, English settlers from the British Isles came to what is now the US, and they brought their language and speaking patterns with them. For example, the way many Southern speakers don't pronounce the R sound comes from these early Englishmen. This tendency is often referred to as R dropping, where the R at the end of words or before consonants is often either softened significantly or not pronounced at all. So here are some examples to illustrate this. When I might say car, a Southern person might say ka. When I say for, a Southern person might say fo. When I say there, somebody from the South might say de. And when I say butter or butter, somebody from the South might say butter. And when I say park, somebody from the South might say park. You see? Now, in a sentence, this pattern might manifest itself in the following ways. If I say, she is over there, somebody from the South might say, she's over there. She's over there. She is over there, or she's over there. Another example, I might say, I saw her yesterday. I saw her yesterday. A Southern person might say, I saw her yesterday. I saw her yesterday. I saw her yesterday. You see what I'm saying? Now, this characteristic of the Southern accent is especially noticeable in more rural or traditional areas of the country and adds to the distinctiveness of the dialect. Now, after the British settlers came over, eventually enslaved Africans were brought to the country as well, and they had to communicate with their masters somehow, so they learned to speak English. But the Africans' mother tongues, or first languages, ended up affecting the way English was and still is spoken in the South today, from the language's sounds to its words and even its grammar. Now, people who lived in the South were also geographically isolated. Each state or region was divided by large mountains, rivers, and or coastlines that kept them from easily interacting with people from other regions. And as time went on, people started to develop regional accents and dialects. So now that we got a little bit of history behind this accent, let's go back to this video clip and focus on a bit of these pronunciation patterns that you will find all across the American South. So let me rewind this video and play it again.
Y'all, there needs to be an update on today's weather.
Y'all, there needs to be an update on today's weather. There's a lot to unpack there. So, y'all, this I think is not just a Southern thing, but you'll definitely hear it in the South. Y'all, instead of saying you all, a lot of people just say y'all. Y'all is very, very, very common, although it does sound quite informal to most people, I would say. But of course, it depends on the context, where you are, who you're talking to. But just as a general rule, the pronoun y'all, which is you all, sounds relatively informal, right? Y'all, y'all. But then if you look here, if you're watching on YouTube, you can see my screen, the word there. Remember, a lot of times they won't really pronounce the R as hard as people from other areas of the country might pronounce it. So let me play it one more time.
Y'all, there needs to be an update on today's weather.
Apart from the fact that she's also speaking quite quickly, hopefully you can hear the difference between the way we pronounce those words. I might say there, but depending on who I'm talking to, I might say there, over there. I say that all the time. But in this case, even though she's from the South, she's not necessarily saying the over there like I would or my friends would. There's many different kinds of Southern accents. And in this version of the Southern accent or this dialect or whatever you'd like to call it, instead of pronouncing the R in a softer way, it's actually a bit harder. There needs to be an update on today's weather. Weather. You see, the R is much harder. Not hard, but like close your mouth a bit more and it's at the front of your mouth. Weather. Or I would say weather. 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 You hear the difference? Y'all, there needs to be an update on today's weather. So you'll also notice a lot of words that have this A sound, they'll pronounce it a bit differently than I might pronounce it. I would say update, but she says update. Update. Let me play it one more time.
Y'all, there needs to be an update on today's weather.
There needs to be an update on today's weather. So you see, those two words both have that A sound. Update, today. Whereas I would say update, today. I hope you can hear the difference. Let's move on to the next sentence.
If you're scared of the spiders outside, y'all better stay your butts in the house because I done found about 4 spiders on me in the past hour.
All right, so let me go back a few seconds. She says, if you're scared of the spiders outside, y'all better stay your butts in the house because I done found about 4 spiders on me in the past hour. So now that you've heard me say it, let me play a part of her saying it one more time.
Outside, y'all better stay your butts in the house because I done found about 4 spiders on me in the past hour.
All right, so she said, if you're scared. Again, it's a harder R. It's not you're scared. It's you're scared. Even though it's Y-O-U apostrophe R-E, it sounds like Y-E-R. You're scared. Let me play it again.
If you're scared of the spiders outside, y'all better stay your butts in the house.
If you're scared, remember that A sound, S-C-A-R-E-D, scared, today, update. Hopefully you're starting to recognize the pattern. If you're scared of the spiders outside. So another unique thing about this accent is when there's an I, the I sound. It doesn't sound like the I when I say it. I would say spiders, whereas she says spiders. It sounds like an I-der. If you're scared of the spiders outside, let me play it again.
If you're scared of the spiders outside.
Even the word after that, spiders outside, or I would say spiders outside. One more time.
If you're scared of the spiders outside, y'all better stay your butts in the house because I done found about 4 spiders on me in the past hour.
Oof. All right. Y'all better stay. That same A again. Y'all better stay your. Remember, your sounds like Y-E-R when she pronounces it. Stay your butts in the house. Stay your butts in the house. So again, the A is very unique in this accent. The I sound is very unique. When we say your, or anything like that, a lot of them will pronounce it like your mom, your dad, your house, you know? And speaking of the word house, whenever there's an OU and it has that out sound, it sounds similar to an A almost. It says, stay your butts in the house. Stay your butt in the house because I done found about 4 spiders on me. Is this part of the episode helping y'all recognize patterns? Please, somebody let me know in the comments. Because like when I was preparing the episode, I was recognizing the patterns and I thought to myself, I'll try to highlight the differences between my accent and hers so you can start to recognize which words or which clusters of vowels or even consonants that we pronounce differently, but in a consistent pattern. Does that make sense? But now as I'm doing this, I'm not sure if this is going to help you or not. So give me some feedback on this one, y'all. Let me know in the comments, YouTube, Spotify, whatever. Let me know if this is actually helpful. And before we even move forward, if you really want to get down into the deep details of American English pronunciation, y'all should check out Rachel's English on YouTube. RACHEL''S, Rachel's English. She specializes in that kind of thing. She has tons of YouTube videos, I believe even some courses on American English pronunciation to help you understand the patterns in our speech and start to imitate it. Understand and imitate it. All right. But let's move on. We still got a little bit to cover, y'all. Here we go.
Butts in the house because I done found about 4 spiders on me in the past hour.
All right. I done found about 4. So you can see found and about have that same out sound. Found, about. But a lot of Southern people would say found, about. Sounds similar to like a wide out, right? I done found about 4 spiders on me. There's that I again. 4 spiders on me. On me. It sounds, I don't know, like almost like she's singing a song, doesn't it? I don't know. It just sounds nice. I done found about 4 spiders on me in the past hour. Even when I was watching this clip, it took me like 1 or 2 seconds to understand. She said the word hour. HOUR, hour. She pronounces it in such a different way. Let me play it one more time.
Y'all better stay your butts in the house because I done found about 4 spiders on me in the past hour.
In the past hour. It doesn't sound like she's saying air. In the past hour. It sounds similar to the word air, but she's saying hour. I done found about 4 spiders on me in the past hour. All right, let's move on. Let's move on. I wanted to say let's continue and let's move on at the same time. Am I the only one that does that? Like you're thinking 2 things and you try to say them at the same time? I don't know. Anyway, let's continue.
I don't know what flavor of spiders they are, but let me tell y'all, they've been crawling all over me. So
all right, there's that A again. I don't know what flavor, because remember, she said today's weather update. Today's weather, stay your butt in the house. Flavor. It's a very classic Southern A. It's an I instead of an A. It's not update or today or stay or flavor. It's update, today, stay, flavor. Hopefully you hear the difference.
on me in the past hour. I don't know what flavor of spiders they are, but let me tell y'all, they've been crawling all over me. So if I'm in the ER, it's probably because I got spider bit. But y'all stay tuned and stay spiderless bit or whatever that's called.
All right, so there's that R again. She said if I'm in the ER. Now you hear the way I say it. If I'm in the ER, it's probably because I got spider bit. She says if I'm in the ER, R. So again, some Southern people would say EI. Some other Southern people would say ER, R. It's like I keep saying hard R, but that's not the proper term for it. But it's like you know what's weird is I know the word in Portuguese. I don't know the word in English to describe that kind of R. It's not coming to me right now, but it's an R. It's not an R. It's R. Like the mouth, your mouth is closed a bit more and the sound is coming from the front of your mouth. Does that make any sense? To me, it does. But it's just a classic feature of Southern pronunciation. So if I'm in the ER, it's probably because I got spider bit. So again, you should start to recognize these patterns. I is a constant sound that's much different from the way I would pronounce it. Spider bit. But. So whenever there's an sound, a lot of Southern people will make an sound. If you remember earlier in the clip, she said, stay your butts in the house because. What'd she say? Because I done found about 4 spiders on me in the past hour. All right. And then she says, stay tuned. Right? There's that A again. Stay tuned. And stay spiderless bit or whatever that's called. Now, what I highly recommend you do is either download or print the study guide for this episode and just listen to the clip again and again and again, because I've highlighted all the words that she pronounces in a classic Southern way. And once you get used to my voice, you'll clearly hear the difference between my accent and hers and hopefully start to recognize the patterns in her speech and understand Southern people much more easily. All right, my friend. But finally, let's just talk about a bit of the vocabulary used in this clip because you might not be familiar with all of the words. So I'm going to go back to the beginning one more time and play it again.
Y'all, there needs to be an update on today's weather. If you're scared of the spiders outside, y'all better stay your butts in the house because.
All right, I'm going to stop it right there. So again, the word y'all, as I said earlier in this episode, the word y'all really just means you all. It's a contraction. Y apostrophe A-L-L. You all becomes y'all. It's very, very common in the southern United States. Not only the South, but definitely in the South, right? So she says, y'all, there needs to be an update on today's weather. Now, another way of saying y'all, like addressing a group of people, is you guys. You guys, there needs to be an update on today's weather. It's a standard way of addressing a group of people. Formal, informal. To me, you can say it in formal and informal situations. People might disagree with that, but that's my opinion. I would use it anytime, anywhere. You guys. Or really, the most formal way is you all, right? You all. There needs to be an update, but that sounds so incredibly formal to me. I just can't imagine hearing that in my daily life. You all. It just sounds very formal to me. To me, right? So you can say you guys. And the word guys, this might confuse you as well because guy is a man, right? A male human being. However, even if you're addressing a group of women, if there's at least one man in that group, you can say you guys. And you'll often notice that even if there are no men in the group, people will refer to a group of women as you guys. I've even heard women referring to other women or addressing a group of women as you guys. So that might be confusing to you, but it's just one of those things that we say even though it doesn't make literal sense. You know what I mean? So you guys can be used pretty much anytime. Although there might be some ladies that get offended if there are no men in the room and you say you guys instead of you ladies or you gals or something like that. But in my experience, we use it for any group of people. All right. Now, another thing you can say is fellas. You fellas. But in this context, I would never say you fellas. There needs to be an update on today's weather. I would say y'all or you guys. But if you're addressing a group of men, you can say, hey, fellas. It's the same thing as saying, hey, guys. Fellas is a very informal, like casual word for men. He's a nice fella. And I believe it comes from the word fellow. It's an older word that we really don't use these days. But these days we say fella. Sounds more casual, sounds more natural to me. I would say, what's up, fellas? How y'all doing, fellas? It's like, what's up, guys? How you doing, guys? To me, it's the same thing, and it's very informal. And finally, you can also say ladies. Now, this is a respectful way to refer to a woman, or a group of women in this case. How you doing, ladies? Good evening, ladies. It's not necessarily, I guess technically you could say it's a formal word, but to me, it's just polite and respectful. How you doing, ladies? What's up, ladies? Good evening, ladies. And you're just addressing a group of women. That makes sense, right? All right, let's move on. The next one is y'all better. Let me play it one more time.
Y'all, there needs to be an update on today's weather. If you're scared of the spiders outside, y'all better stay your butts in the house.
Y'all better stay your butts in the house. Now, this is something you'll hear very commonly in, I would say, informal American speech. If somebody says, you better do something, you better stay in the house, you better do your homework, you better call your dad, you better go to work. It's like saying, I think it's best if you do this. It's like saying you should do this. You see what I'm saying? Sometimes it's like a command. You better eat your food, but it's more like saying you should do this because if you don't, there's going to be negative consequences. To me, that's really what we're communicating. You better stay in the house because if you don't, you're going to get bit by spiders. You're going to get caught in the storm or something bad is going to happen. So you better do this. Otherwise, this bad thing is going to happen. I hope that makes sense. It's just like saying you should do this because if you don't, there's negative consequences. All right. And then she says, you better stay your butts in the house. Now, what I want to explain here is the term butt. B-U-T-T, not B-U-T. Two different words. B-U-T-T refers to your backside, your bottom, your ass, your rear end. Pick whatever term you want. But if somebody says stay your butt in the house, basically what they're saying is keep yourself in the house. When somebody says stay your butt, they use the word butt. It's like saying yourself, your body, you. I really hope that makes sense because it's hard to explain in any other way. If I say sit your butt down, I'm referring to your body, your physical being. Sit your butt down. If I say shut your ass up, that's probably not the best example. Don't tell people to shut their ass up. But it's like like a colloquial way of speaking. Sit your butt down. Stay your butt in the house. I'm talking about keep yourself, your body in the house. You see what I'm saying? And if I say keep yourself inside, to me that doesn't sound natural at all. But if I say keep your butt inside, keep your butt in the house, it's a very informal way of telling someone to keep themselves, which is technically their physical body, in the house. Does that make any sense? I thought about that one for a long time, and that's the best explanation I could come up with. If I come up with a better one after this episode, then I'll come back to this in the next talking about nothing or something like that. I don't know. But in the interest of time, in the interest of saving time, we're gonna move right along. Let me just say one more thing. When she says stay your butt in the house, all she's communicating is stay inside. It's an informal, kind of colloquial way of saying stay inside. That's what you need to understand. All right, let's continue.
Update on today's weather. If you're scared of the spiders outside, y'all better stay your butts in the house because I done found about 4 spiders on me in the past hour.
All right, I done found about 4 spiders on me in the past hour. Now, what I want to explain is that sentence structure. I done found. Technically, this is not grammatically correct. If you speak this way, depending on where you are or who you're talking to, these people might think that you're ignorant, that you're uneducated, that you're speaking with very poor English. It depends on who you're talking to. Personally, for me, it sounds, I don't need to say personally for me. It's like the same thing. It's redundant. But personally, it sounds natural. If you ask me, it sounds natural. Like where I'm from, a lot of people talk this way, but you do have more snobbish kind of people that are a bit more critical about people's grammar and shit like that. So just know you're not going to speak this way at work. You're not going to speak this way in an interview or talking to your boss or any formal setting where you want to appear sophisticated or educated. You're not going to use this sentence structure. I done found, I done heard, I done seen. And really what you need to understand is this is another version of the present perfect tense. Because I could say, I have found about 4 spiders on me. That's really what she's communicating, and that is grammatically correct. I have found, I have seen, I have gone, I have done. That is correct. You can say that anytime, anywhere, and it's cool. A lot of Southerners, not just Southerners, but a lot of Southerners would use this sentence structure. I done found, I done seen, I done been there 7 times, I done whatever. It's very, very, very common in American speech, depending on where you are. So I just want you to be familiar with this speech pattern so that you can understand what it means. But I am not recommending you speak that way. Now, if you want to speak that way, there's no problem at all. But hopefully now you understand you might be perceived as uneducated. You know, some people might not appreciate that way of speaking very much. You see what I'm saying? All right, let's move on.
Y'all better stay your butts in the house because I done found about 4 spiders on me in the past hour. I don't know what flavor of spiders they are, but let me tell y'all, they've been crawling all over me.
All right, she says, I don't know what flavor of spiders they are, which makes sense because of the context and everything, but spiders don't really have flavors, do they? Because we don't eat spiders like food or drink them like soda and stuff. Like food has flavor, drinks have flavor. I guess everything you eat has flavor, but what she means to say is, I don't know what kind of spider it is. You see what I'm saying? Maybe she's trying to be funny, or that's how they talk about spiders where she's from. I don't know. But generally, we would say, I don't know what kind of spiders, just in case that wasn't clear. But what I want to explain now is the phrase, let me tell y'all. She said, I don't know what kind of flavor or what flavor spiders they are, but let me tell y'all. Now, this phrase is we use it to introduce something that we want you to focus on or pay attention to. And how else can I explain that? Let me tell y'all. It's just a phrase that we use to set up whatever we're actually going to say. Now, there are many different ways to say this phrase, right? One example is check this out. Another example is just so you know. You won't believe this, but blah, blah, blah. Or I just have to say blah, blah, blah. Or guess what? Blah, blah, blah. There's so many, and it really depends on the context. They're not necessarily interchangeable. And if you're looking at the vocab guide, you can see all the examples that I gave here. but it really depends on the context. I just want you to know when she says, let me tell y'all, it's like something that we say right before something that we feel is important and that we really want you to listen to or hear. You know what I'm saying? If you listen to a lot of Americans in casual speech, like where I'm from, uh, people might say, let me tell y'all. Another thing people might say is, man, let me tell you something. Let me tell you something. And then they tell you whatever it is they're going to tell you. I don't know why we do that, but it's just like setting up whatever's coming next. Man, let me tell you something. This chick from around the block, let me tell you something, bro. You know, man, let me tell y'all something. It's just calling your attention to what we're about to say. I really hope that makes sense. If it doesn't, leave your questions in the comments. All right. Oh, we got one more thing. One more thing. Here we go.
I don't know what flavor of spiders they are, but let me tell y'all, they've been crawling all over me. So if I'm in the ER, it's probably because I got spider bit. But y'all stay tuned and stay spiderless bit or whatever that's called.
All right. She says, but y'all stay tuned and stay spiderless bit or whatever that's called. Now, first, I'll explain spiderless bit. Nobody really says anything like that. I believe she's being funny, just joking around, playing with words and stuff like that. I honestly don't know. We'd have to ask her. But spiderless bit, really what she's saying is don't get bit by spiders, right? It's even hard to explain it because it doesn't make literal sense. Spiderless bit. It doesn't, I mean, it makes sense because I know what she's trying to say. But if you just read that, it's like, what the hell does that mean? Spiderless bit. But what she's saying is stay free from spider bites. Don't get bit by a spider. You see what I'm saying? Now, stay tuned, which is what I really want to explain. She says, stay tuned and stay spiderless bit. Stay tuned basically means keep watching. You're going to hear this very often on TV, maybe on the radio, things like that. Some kind of program where they're going to a commercial break and then they're going to come back with the regularly scheduled program. They'll say, stay tuned for more news on whatever news channel. Stay tuned to find out what happens after the break. It just means keep watching. Don't go anywhere, which is another thing that you'll hear people say. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back after this message from our sponsors. And there's many ways to say that. You might hear people say, more to come after the break. There's more to come after the break, which is basically saying there's more coming after the break. You'll also hear people say, stick around, and we'll be right back after the break. Stick around means don't go anywhere. Stay in the same place. Some people might say, stay with us. Some people might say, keep listening if it's a podcast or a radio show, or hang tight. Hang tight is like, wait for a minute. You might be feeling impatient. You might be wanting to go or change the channel or whatever. Just hang tight. Hang tight. Just wait a second. That's basically what it means. You'll also hear, well, these days you won't hear people say, don't touch that dial. You would hear back in the day, people would say, don't touch that dial. And they're referring to the dial on the actual television that you use to change the channel. Another dial is for the volume, right? Y'all remember that? Some of y'all probably never experienced that, did you? Right? When you had to get up. I didn't experience that either. Let me not fucking, like when I was a kid, we had remotes. We had the dials or the knobs on the TV and remotes. So if the batteries were dead, you didn't have any batteries, you'd have to get up, walk to the TV and change the channel or turn down the volume and shit like that. But nowadays, do they even put those buttons on TVs? I don't know. Anyway, now you know what stay tuned means. It means keep watching, keep listening, don't go anywhere. We will be back in just a moment. That's basically what it means. So now that we actually, well, yeah, before I get to this last thing, I'm going to play the clip one more time from start to finish. Hopefully now it'll be much easier to understand. But again, if it's not, just keep listening, keep training yourself. It's totally normal if this is very difficult for you to comprehend. All right, my friend. So let's listen to that clip one more time.
Y'all, there needs to be an update on today's weather. If you're scared of the spiders outside, y'all better stay your butts in the house because I done found about 4 spiders on me in the past hour. I don't know what flavor of spiders they are, but let me tell y'all, they've been crawling all over me. So if I'm in the ER, it's probably because I got spider bit. But y'all stay tuned and stay spiderless bit or whatever that's called.
All right, my friends. So how was it the second, third? I don't know how many times I played this clip. How was it at the end of the episode? Let me know if it was easier to follow and understand. Now, the last thing I want to bring to your attention is that American accents can get very tricky. Talking about them or describing them, explaining how they work or who uses them or all that type of stuff, it's very tricky because due to the history of our country, we don't just have accents and dialects based on a particular region, like the Western accent, Southern, Northeast, Midwest. It's not just the region that you come from. We also have accents and dialects that come from particular cultures and ethnicities. Does that make sense to you? So it's like you have the Southern accent, which encompasses the entire all of the Southern United States, right? But in within that region of the country, you have this is really hard to explain. I try to choose my words carefully because I know that depending on the way I explain this, you might get the wrong idea. But you might already have some idea about the fact that in many cases, white people, black people, Latinos, Asians, Native Americans, etc., we might have different accents and dialects. We have different ways of expressing ourselves, even if we're from the same exact city. Because it's not just where you're from, it's the culture that you grew up in that determines your accent and your dialect. Whereas in many other places, it could be just your region, like the city you come from, the state you come from, or the area of the country, and not necessarily the color of your skin. You see what I'm saying? Because the history of the United States caused our culture to fragment into many different pieces. So there's cultures and subcultures, and all of that affects the way that we communicate. But if you ask me, this is a topic that deserves its own episode. So we will come back to that topic in the future. I just don't want you to think that all people from Mississippi sound like this, because that is certainly not the case. I even considered playing like different Mississippi accents, but I didn't want the episode to be like 2 hours because it really does take time to explain it correctly. So we'll come back to that in the future, my friend. But at this point, I want to thank you for your time and attention. Thank you for checking out Real English Radio. I'm your host, Tony Kaizen, and I'll talk to you soon. Peace.